I can hear the playback and it sounds good. If this mic is good here, then we can go for it. I'm for this test. I'm also gonna start looking at where are all our Finder windows? Oh, here we go. Okay, so let's go to Millennial Shady and let's bring up this presentation. Actually, let's just play the video. Let's just Okay, why is it? Oh, it's just mono. Mono. Fuck. Audio input capture. Can I make it be? You just change what it is. It's gonna be mono. Display capture. Audio output capture. Okay. Device. Can't do it. Audio output capture. It's done. Yes. Audio input capture. That's good. Let me see what happens if I play. Okay, we already did that. Okay, so stop. All right, welcome to the. So, welcome to Dream Cloud. Today we're going to be talking about. Welcome to Dream Cloud. Really excited today. We're going to be talking about Millennial City. We're going to be talking about MAGA. We are going to be talking about Maha and even Maba. Make America Build Again. So, this is definitely a continuation of all of the populist movements leading up until the election. And now, obviously, the election's over. Doge is finding waste, fraud, and abuse and moving through agencies, basically auditing the government. That's what they tell us. So, while that is a destructive measure, and I understand tearing down old systems, we need to build new systems, and we need to understand this trade war, tech war with China. It's actually a tech war, it's a chip war, really. So, what we have to do is build cities in America. We have to build many new cities. We need to build infrastructure in America to connect these cities. We need to build the supply chain infrastructure between these cities so that companies can work together to build and manufacture in the US and not copy cheap manufacturing that's done abroad, but actually do high tech, really highly skilled production manufacturing in the US. And obviously, we're going to have to talk about education. So, DreamCloud. What DreamCloud is trying to do right now is present this idea of Millennial City, which is this new typology of a city we could build based on futuristic cities. American cities that are great are very, very old. We need new American cities that are really, really great. So this is one of them, but we need to build several. This could be a typology. This could be an example of how to do it. So, but we also need to work with private companies who build things now in the U.S. to figure out what kinds of strengthenings we can add to the supply chain. Even if we have to import raw materials, we can do that. But we need to start kind of building the whole kind of vertical integration with tech production in America. And Millennial City is the first place to do it. We will get into the location probably in the second. I already have two presentations, so I need to get going and explain this to you guys. So if you just want to flat out watch the presentations, go to the Dream Cloud. Toxic Dreams is going to be more about like the person explaining me and my project. This is something that I've been working on for a little while now. So let me just check. Let me just no, I can't check. So Millennial City is a multicultural urban environment designed to bring people across the world together, futuristic, yada yada yada. So basically, this project, in a nutshell, is how we are going to make America great again. So America is great, and I think the period of time when America was arguably the greatest would be like immigration into Ellis Island, New York City, advancements, production, the Industrial Revolution, and just giving people something where they can come work and they can build a life for themselves. And that idea of like continuing to build in America and expand is in some ways limited by how we deal with tech. So this goes back into really the private sector and the courts and patents and corporate law. So IP is a big thing in America, and people defend their IP. They like to protect their ideas. In China, the system is, well, not everywhere in China, but it's especially in places like Shenzhen. It's more open source. It's more about collaboration. It's more about sharing. So we need to kind of promote that idea, and I want to use Millennial City as a microcosm to kind of promote that idea of tech companies working together. And obviously, the supply chains are going to be assisted by DreamCloud as a kind of facilitator in the cloud space. So hardscaping is Millennial City, and the kind of like infrastructure, uh, corporate infrastructure would be Dream Cloud, kind of bridging, trying to bring people and companies together. And I think because America is such a melting pot, it's so multicultural. This could be the place where we build these international cities, these freedom cities. Trump talks about freedom cities during his campaign, and he's been much more preoccupied with kind of cleaning out waste, fraud, and abuse, doing all the Doge stuff right now. But these freedom cities are going to be what actually solve the problem, because the problems are lack of education. The greatest resource in America is its people. And right now, the most underutilized resource in America is its people. So we have to get our people kind of like, we need to level up our people to be able to do these cutting edge jobs. And for that, we need an education system. And we cannot rely on the current education system that we have in America. So we actually need to update our education system so that it's not only like more tech friendly, but it's subsidized, it's free. It even pays people to go back. We need these jobs. It's non-negotiable. We cannot have people just decide, oh, I want to pursue this career, so I'm going to go into debt. That's off the table now. We need to pay people to do these jobs. We need to train Americans to do these jobs, and then we can. So in the short term, we can import highly skilled labor. Yes, we do need that. That was true, but in the long term, we do need to talk about education. So Dream Cloud, again, Dream Cloud, I'm willing to do this. Facilitate the supply chain from education to manufacturing to transportation. Everything, bringing people in and bringing products to their final destination, to build this infrastructure for American tech companies so we can actually do this. So, you know, Trump talked about building these freedom cities on federal land. And in the next presentation, I found an actual site that's federal land. It's beautiful. It's in the right location. I think we should do it there. I want to get more input on that. But Trump says he wants to build these freedom cities, so let's do it. Millennial City is an urban metropolis, an international urban metropolis. It's multicultural. Basically, I want every country from around the world to have a headquarters in Millennial City, to have some kind of a production facility in Millennial City to be trading technology so that you can send your best. Like, think about it this way: companies from or countries from around the world have to send their best to America because they can't provide those jobs. Well, what if they could have an office in internet in Millennial City where they could send their best companies or they could send their best people to learn from everyone else who's doing it, but that technology could still be sent back to that country, right? So it's almost like each major company would want to have a tech headquarters in this city just so it could stay up to date and just so it could learn from other companies and trade with other companies and do that. So this is in some ways this is a big kind of like a market trading metropolis, but I still want to build that factory infrastructure kind of adjacent to the downtown areas so that not only is the city a place to come and share knowledge and trade and work together with people, but it's also a place where we're building things and we're kind of like flexing that supply chain with this city with the help of other cities. Obviously, we're going to have to talk about like connecting these cities with a transit system, with a transportation system. So the multicultural stadium center, this is just saying like we need to have a place for people to meet and come together and not only do tech stuff but also entertainment. So it's thinking like, okay, if we're going to make this city a great place to be and it's going to be making America great again in terms of technology, it also needs to be a good place to be for everyone else so that we can come here and enjoy culture, art, entertainment, things that make life good for people in addition to the technology which makes our life easier. This is going to be designed as a walkable city. This will make America healthy again, getting people out of their cars, onto the sidewalk, under trees, breathing clean air. This will make America healthy again. We will talk about that more in depth later. Modular construction, affordable living, factory built, prefabricated. This will make America affordable. So these will be places, these will be units that you'll be able to rent or buy. A big thing that I want to do with this is have DreamCloud be a sort of main developer. And then when companies or when individuals come to live in Millennial City, they will actually be paying rent to the development corporation that is owned by DreamCloud, so that all the money that's pouring in to rent in the city is actually going into the main company that can be recycled into other resources like childcare, like universal health care, like education. So by coming to the city and paying rent every month and living in this city, you will be also paying for all of those extra amenities. So this is a way for us to re-engineer the economy and get rid of the waste that is unnecessary in certain types of economic arrangements, like having your rent, like the money you pay to live in a city, completely disconnected from the healthcare of that city. Now it's a connected loop. And so as you're paying for all these kind of visible services, literal housing, you're also paying for these other things that could involve transportation, that could involve education and healthcare and childcare and all this other stuff. So that's really important, and that means that the companies who are also moving to this city are contributing to that, as they will pay rent in whatever facility headquarters their office is in, and this money will be used for everyone else who's actually living in the city. So it's a very connected. It's a community arrangement. I think we should start calling it like a community economy, community housing, things like that. So obviously, it's going to need a new energy source. This could be a thorium salt nuclear reactor. I would like it to be that. It should be clean. It should be modern, but we can get to that later. The location I picked out doesn't really need a power plant, but global trade. So international technology. So this open source development, it's where all of the people in the city can come together and they can actually trade with each other. They can learn from each other. They can protect some certain things, and certain things that people do that's completely their own idea. Of course they should have IP on that, but just generic development that everyone is going to be using, like things like chips, like that should be open source, because it's not the chips that really are important. It's all of the stuff that you put on top of the chips that make the chips expressive, that should really be IP. And some of the more fundamental aspects of technology should just be more open source and available to everyone. So we're going to be building those technologies, and then hopefully we're going to be able to get those technologies in the hands of everyone all over the world from this city, and then they can kind of take that technology back home And then we can repeat this with robotics. This could be a great place to roll out autonomous robots. High speed rail. If there's going to be more cities a part of this whole program, we got to connect them all. We got to connect people from around the country to this city. So we need to develop high speed rail, and it's going to make sense in the context of the location that I picked out. It's in the center of America, hint, and it is. There's already a couple tech companies there. It's not Silicon Valley, but it's something very similar. And high speed rail would be completely doable. No Rocky Mountains, no stuff like that. So now we talk about the kind of context of the city and how beautiful it is, and how these garden pavilions are integrated into the city living. So it's not just this big dirt, dense urban kind of monster like New York was built as, but it's a soft kind of futuristic garden, natural kind of organic city. And you can see that within the indoor spaces as well as the outdoor spaces. And this would be a international kind of shopping mall where all these different brands from around the world came to showcase their best products, and so that you would come here as a tourist because you knew you could shop brands from around the world in one single place. So this global aspect of this international metropolis aspect is really expressed not only in the people that work there, the companies that work there, but the people that come there, the tourism, the people that shop there, and so it's real. This is a real thing. So, local communities, obviously, multiculturalism. I've lived in New York. I've lived in other metropolitan areas. Multiculturalism, if you do it right, it can be a great, 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 great thing. So, what I want Millennial City to become really is this kind of like a melting pot of different cultures, each country representing their own little district, and the kind of lines between these districts can get kind of interesting in terms of blending, and being able to go to one city and have all this different cuisine, and have all this different fashion, and have all this different entertainment, and have it's just going to be a cool place, and people are going to make movies there, and it's just going to be a really, really cool city. There's going to be a lot of unintentional things that we don't plan that happen there that would be great. Residential units, affordable housing. It's going to be very dense. I think it's going to be dense, and it's going to be livable, and it's going to be enjoyable. It's not going to be dense and kind of like harsh and brutal. It's not going to be brutalism. It's going to be very, very inviting. So the technology, obviously, now I've been doing more research into China, supply chains, chip manufacturing, the machines that are needed to actually make the chips. Which I think it's stereolithography. It's like basically they create these chips using silicon and light and a series of different gels and melting. It's a complicated. You can understand it, but the precision in which this occurs is so specialized. Like the education needed to fulfill this duty. I can understand why this is a problem. So we need to start talking about education and building the facilities to work and to make these things, but also building the facilities to teach the minds to come in and work there too. So it needs to be both, and we need to do that now. And we can get to this point where we can kind of introduce humanoid citizens and talk about robotics, and this would be the best city, I think, to introduce this kind of like, what are robots in terms of like legality. Are they citizens? Are they property? All that stuff. So we'll be talking about that later. Obviously, educational campuses. This is more important than I really thought possible. And then again, just talking about like garden courtyards, these being beautiful spaces where people can come and meet, and there's water, and there's plants, and there's nature, and it's not a really harsh city. It's a very inviting, futuristic city. Obviously, entertainment venues give people something to do when they're not working. Make it a very fun place. Make it very exciting. Make it very fun for tourists to come, for people to come to the city for no other reason than just to have fun. And that global stage is going to allow us to put on these international entertainment shows, Stadium Center. And so this will be Freedom City number one. This is Millennial City, and I do believe that this is a great plan to make America great again, to make America healthy again, to make America build again, to fix our supply chain issue, to actually have a real conversation about what's happening in China and why we view them as such a threat right now, because they have the supply chain vertically integrated from rare earths to final productions. And obviously, there's a chip war going on where we're not allowing them to buy certain machines from the Netherlands that are needed to make these super, super high tech chips. Taiwan is also obviously makes Taiwan has a company that makes these chips, and that's why we're in this sort of like stalemate kind of war situation with China, is because there's these companies that make these chips that everyone wants, and they're actually in Taiwan right now. Technically, there's a trade embargo, and China is not allowed to buy these machines or these chips. But something happened recently where they created this AI model, and it would be kind of impossible without these new chips. So they're able to make old chips. And it's just this whole thing where it's like, okay, so you understand that like our difficulty right now with China is not about China's like military at all. It's about these chips. It's about the technology, but it's about computers. So our response to China being better than us is to try to take China down instead of being better ourselves. And we can be better. Millennial City can help us be better. Freedom Cities can help us be better. Fixing our supply chain, like we can do all these things, but we have to sit down and start to invest in them. So if President Trump is really serious about making America great again, then this is how we do it. Millennial City, the supply chain, uh, education, um, integrating all of these different companies that are in America right now so that we can actually build these products here. We're not so reliant on them. And then, improving our products, open sourcing the technology, allowing companies to work together so we can create products that are undeniably the best in the world. And then obviously our exports will increase. So this could also increase exports. And also these cities, as an added bonus, these are international multicultural cities. So if we need to really address the problem of immigration, which I believe is a problem of immigrants coming to existing cities and changing the demographic, then let's build brand new cities and let's introduce an international demographic into these cities so that everyone who wants to immigrate into America can come to Millennial City or one of the other freedom cities to work, to assimilate into the multiculturalism, and then the next generation, their children perhaps, can move outside the city and move into another city. I just think that this is a great project. This answers a lot of different questions about how we make America great again. I would like to do that. I would like to be a part of that. How do we have a serious conversation about U.S. China relations? Could this be the domestic policy that turns into a really beautiful foreign policy? Because right now, we're kind of having this isolationist America first, protect us from the rest of the world. But maybe we could do something that is similar but opposite, which is to say, no, America is international, but we need to build to get there. America is a global power, truly, because we invite people to come here. And I think that that needs to be like our emphasis is making this city an international metropolis, and we pull in everyone. I mean, we're already pulling in good talent. That's no one's questioning that. But let's complete the whole cycle, the whole supply chain. We need to talk about batteries. We need to talk about more than chips. Obviously, rare earths is not something that's huge in America, but we do have partners where we can trade and get those raw materials. But we need to start producing these things and, like I said, vertically integrate the supply chain. DreamCloud wants to help with that and kind of assist all these different companies who do their own specialized thing. But we need to plug them in all into one thing. So basically, what we need to do is take the country from all these isolated individual competing businesses, which is more like a sports theater, and we need to turn it into a factory so that this company is plugged into this company, which is plugged into this company, which is plugged into this company. And yes, they all make money as the product is getting produced, but they work together. So we need to create that assembly line approach in America with our supply chain, and we need to focus on technology and education and getting people there. And that's it. That's really all. That's how easy it is. And then we don't have to, I don't know about foreign policy, but it's just something that this is how we do it, and this is what I want to do. And I want to thank you for joining me, just talking about this stuff. I know it's kind of nerdy and boring, but that's my thing. The next steps would obviously be like finding a location. I'm gonna make. I already made another presentation. I'm just gonna show it to you. After this, it's about the location. It's about where we could do this, why we should do it there. But definitely, we need a development team, Millennial City Development Team, or the Freedom City Development Agency, something like that. DreamCloud could be a consultant, meeting with all these tech companies. So that's basically it. Thank you for watching this presentation. If you can get this to housing and urban development, if you can get this to Trump's campaign team, if you can get to this to someone in the media who's interested in MAGA, who's interested in politics, but is also not, uh, interested in arguing, but interested in building and moving the country forward, then let's do this. Show them this. Reach out to me. Leave a comment. Share this video with a friend. Thank you. I know we can do this together. Let's do this. Thank you.